Hello, Buddy Woodbury here. Today we're going to talk about the Garmin T5 tracking collar. The first thing you're going to notice about the Garmin T5 tracking collar is the orange cap on top. Normally these are black. So you'll see an orange cap on top. You're going to know you have a T5 tracking collar. If we compare the T5 tracking collar to the DC50 collar, which is very similar, I have a DC50. If I compare them side by side, you're going to notice a little bit of differences. One of the differences, you have the two lights on the front, so you can turn these lights on or off. Another difference compared to the DC50 is the DC50 has 4 small circles for charging. The T5 collar has the 5 larger square pins for charging. Your T5 charging comes with a small pigtail style charger that clips onto the collar, and then you can connect your small USB charger plugged to either a wall charger or a truck charger. You can also use the TT10 charging clips on the T5. They work just as well. You can get extra TT10 clips very easily and store them in your truck or your home or whatever. The last difference that we notice is the back plate is slightly different. The button's in a slightly different place. The case is built just slightly different. So those are the physical differences between your T5 collar and your DC50 collar. If we compare the collar to a TT10 or a TT15 collar, the only difference is the back plate. The TT10 has your training features and your prongs on it, but other than that, the outside casing looks the same. The TT10s and 15s only have a black cap. So physical differences between your T5 collar, like we covered: the 2 lights on the front, which you can control with either the Alpha or the Astro. Your charging pins are just a little bit different. Orange cap on top, backplate recess button just a little bit different. Still has the same type of design for pulling straps in and out. You can change the straps. Same antenna holder, same antennas. A lot of it's the same. So we're going to talk a little bit about the actual features of the collar and what's different between the T5 collar and the DC50 collar. Basically, the biggest difference between the two collars is that the T5 is also able to be used with the Garmin Alpha handheld. So when you have a DC50 collar, all you can track is with an Astro 320 collar. But with the T5, you can either pair it to a Garmin Astro 320, or if you want to just a track only collar for your Alpha, you can pair it to your Alpha collar or your Alpha system and track it as a track only collar. You're not going to be able to use any training features. It doesn't have any, but it'll be a track only collar for your Alpha handheld. The one question we get quite often is, can you track the collars at the same time on both systems? Meaning, if somebody's hunting with an Astro and you hunt with an Alpha, can you track each other's collars? And the question to that is no, not at the same time. When you're pairing your device, either you pair it to an Alpha handheld and it acts like a TT style collar, okay? Or if you want to hunt with an Astro, you pair it to an Astro 320 and it will act like a DC style collar. One or the other, not both at the same time. Feature differences between the T5 and the DC collar is the T5 collar was made for trying to make some of the competition rules and be accepted in the competition hunts. So they took away the bark detection feature. So on the DC50 collar, your Astro will tell you how much the dog is barking. That feature is no longer in the T5 collar to accommodate some rules for competition. Slightly lighter, not by much, and the battery life on a T5 collar looks to be just a little bit less than the DC50 collar because it's got a little bit more that it does. So those are the main fundamental differences between your T5 collar versus the DC50 collar when paired with the Astro. Now, when you pair the T5 collar with the Alpha, we do see one other feature that you won't have with the Astro, and that's for customers that have a Garmin Verb camera, which is a small video camera that Garmin came out with, I think last year, and they're very handy little video cameras that if you mounted this to your dog's neck and had a T5 collar right next to it, with your Alpha handheld, you have a new option here when you go into the dog section that gives you the option to turn on, start, stop, or photo your Verb camera at any distance. So, for example, let's say this collar is on your dog and this camera is mounted to your dog's neck to take cameras, and the dog's maybe a mile away. If you're hunting with your Alpha handheld and you're tracking the dog, he's in good reception area so that you got good communication with the dog, you're able to start recording that camera or stop recording that camera, or you're able to take a photo snapshot at that time. You don't need to be right next to your camera to turn it on or off. That's one of the features with the T5 paired with the Alpha that Garmin came out with. So that wraps up our T5 collar. Again, a few differences, not very different at all from a DC50 collar. In fact, it's a little bit, has a few less features than DC50 collar to meet the competition rules. I guess the features it does have, it has some lights that can be activated, slightly lower, or a few ounces lighter than the DC50. I think, again, it's for some competition rules that they're trying to bridge into. The charging, which I appreciate, is a different charging feature. I like it to be the same as the TT10 chargers. And the orange cap. I mean, the orange cap is a dead giveaway. You're looking at T5 collar. Antennas are the same. Your distance is going to be the same. Battery life is going to be basically the same. You'll lose a little bit of battery life compared to a DC50 collar, and about the same as a TT10 collar. This is Buddy Woodbury, W Hunt Supply, and that concludes our T5 short product video.